This is Cybert signing into General's Evolution, the mod for Red Alert 3 on the map Defcon 6 for a 2v2v2. We've seen some 3v3s on this map. I think we've also seen some FFAs, but this is a 2v2v2 in the north. Making up our first team as the orange GLA Stealth, this is Sherp. GLA Stealth paired up with this guy, the USA Laser General. This is 966665. So that's a 9, 4 6s, and then a 5. So that's going to be pretty fun to say a lot. As the blue Vanilla USA, this is ClouD, who we've seen play some 1v1s, and his teammate as the pink USA Air. This is SpirituMagno, who I thought was Spiritual Mango, and I was pretty excited about casting a game with a Spiritual Mango in it, but his name is actually slightly different. As the darker red, the less saturated, the more brown kind of red, this is Aetherius. And playing Vanilla GLA. And as Vanilla China, rounding it out with the regular red color, this is Aqulex. 6 players, 2v2v2. Got a couple of GLA players, 3 USA players, and 1 China player. So a nice mix, all things considered. It wasn't a perfect distribution of 2, 2, and 2, but, you know, we get a USA team, and we get enough of the other factions to get a little bit of a taste. And right into it as the snipes are coming out here from SpirituMagno, who I think I just will call SpirituMagno because that's way more fun of a name. Airfield is for second airfield is getting added on. And of course, you know, Air Force General, very popular in General 0 Hour, but it's also pretty good here in Gen Evo, even though tanks are stronger generally. And, you know, it is a little bit different balance than Gen Evo. Still, USA Air Force General is pretty strong. Looks like ClouD and SpirituMagno going to be bringing a bit of aggression right from the beginning of the game. RPG troopers, some riflemen, and a couple of sentries just running rings around that tunnel. Although it looks like ClouD may have a little bit of laser trouble on his horizon. We'll see if the numbers are actually able to get in there and bring some pain. SpirituMagno does back off, so he doesn't follow this up with any kind of attack with his air forces, nothing like that. We did, of course, see some combat Chinooks have some amazing effectiveness as an Air Force General in a previous game. A little bit of pressure from Aqulex, trying to press in and up the hill. We have seen on this map and in other Gen Evo matches, the map design it's not super choke pointy, but the hills and the limited access to bases can lead to a great defender's advantage. And so that's something that has to be played around, and that is something that has to be taken into account. And of course, with a laser general, we also have to take into account that taking down their power plants is going to be probably pretty important in being able to defeat them. Sherp pretty well set up with a little bit of a defensive network here. Stinger sights, tunnel networks, and he takes the bunker as well. His palace on the front line, which I assume he's going to garrison up. SpirituMagno with more Raptors, going to be looking to slow down the expansion of numbers as a scan does also come down here. Going to only really clean up like an Avenger and 1 tank. Not a huge amount of damage done. USA spy drones getting sniped. Quad cannon here from Aetherius, going to be able to snipe that spine drone. Firebase of ClouD just in range of the Patriot laser system and able to sort of poke and prod. 1 single technical. What is he loaded up with? Going to be jumping into his ally's base, but I assume this isn't just 1 technical with nothing. Okay, he is going to be dropping off, I assume, a tunnel network, yeah, in his ally's base. Raptors making another pass. Meanwhile, in the north, Aqulex is getting ready for another go. Avengers doing a pretty good job of zapping most of those missiles away. Aqulex does retreat away from the front line. A third airfield coming up, so this is going to be a lot of Raptors. It looks like it's pure Raptors so far for SpirituMagno. Always nice if you're GLA to get up a couple of tunnel networks, especially in your allies' base, so that you've got that extra bit of mobility and maneuverability. You can help out if there's any assault or defense needs. And Sherp may be getting ready to press up the hill towards Cloud. Raptors come in again. There is one Avenger here. The Raptors going pretty deep, trying to shut down the power of this laser general. A-10 Warthog strike coming in. Cloud does dodge most of it. War Factory does take a little bit of damage there, but Cloud's units mostly avoid the burden. Couple of Patriots not going to be moved quick enough. 2 Patriots do go down. This may open up an opportunity for Cloud to come down the hill. He's got a decent amount of Paladins. His own airstrike going to be coming in here as a Rebel surprise gets mixed in, I guess. As no, it's actually just Laser Rangers at the bottom of the ramp. And this expansion of numbers is going to get completely shut down. Cloud, with the combination support powers, does have enough firepower to break through the middle in between the 2 bases. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, Sherp is looking for an additional target, and a couple of Laser Rangers will remain there at the expansion. But Cloud has been able to clean that up. Artillery barrage comes in. The tunnel network does survive. This is a lot of technicals here for Sherp, and Aqulex decides to back off. Decides that is not the place for him. SpirituMagno with his 3 airfields up and running. Supply trucks getting targeted. Every single Raptor goes down. And Numbers has clearly identified that he is a target for the Air Force General, and that is something that he is going to have to worry about. Toxin Tractors leading the way, but they're not able to get close enough to actually clear out the mass infantry that SpirituMagno has built up for his defense. A lot of RPG troopers here for SpirituMagno, as those javelins are just going to be able to blast through what limited forces Aetherius sends up the hill. Scud launchers are now out for Aetherius. Another spy drone gets cleaned up there. Technicals from Sherp moving their way through the middle of the map. A couple of Auroras are here, and those bombs just do massive splash. Although it looks like they all were clustered in one little area. Sentry drones coming in here for Cloud for the defense. Second pass with the Raptors, going to be able to clean up a couple of more technicals. They step out onto the field, and that is the place where the Air Force General has pretty much complete control. And honestly, for a 2v2v2, it seems like the lines have been drawn pretty clearly. There isn't much going on between most of these players, but SpirituMagno, the only one with the strong Air Force, is the only one with the consistent attacks. Everyone else is just sort of laying low and being very cautious and very patient with their maneuvering. Although that might be about to change in the top left corner of the map. Sherp is looking like he is ready and poised with Numbers. This, of course, may leave Numbers vulnerable to Cloud and SpirituMagno. Technical's kind of leading the charge here. I'm not sure what their real plan is. They do not seem well armed to deal with this much firepower from the China player. At the same time, Aetherius is going to be picking a different battle as Scud missiles get launched, and the Raptors clean up most of the Scud launchers, but one does remain. The Scud's able to clean up the fire base, and Cloud swings in with his sentry drone army. One last Scud missile will launch, and it will not be enough to break SpirituMagno, but he does almost claim the airfield as another Scud missile manages to launch. Cloud does not prioritize the defense of SpirituMagno there. Meanwhile, the Paladin tanks in the north have held off the attack. And I'm not sure that Aqulex and Aetherius fighting on two fronts, essentially fighting 1v2s on two different fronts, is the best plan. ClouD going big with USA armor. He's got out mammoth tanks, he's got out paladins, he's got out sentry guns. He has just gone pretty much all armor all the way as the USA player. And no rock Vs. You have to give it to the USA players. They are not building a lot of rock Vs. A couple of Avengers, a couple of laser Humvees, but they are actually more focused on tanks than anything. Four Auroras. I think maybe 7 Raptors in total. Still utilizing those 3, maybe even 4 airfields. Yeah. SpirituMagno is now up to 4 airfields. ClouD heading through the middle of the map, hoping maybe he can take a couple of expansions. And if he's able to take the expansions, he might be able to force a fight in the middle of the map where the air forces can be really quite effective. When you don't have that concentrated anti-air firepower. Well, that was an attempt. Not necessarily a good attempt, but a couple of quad cannons do head down from the high ground and try to ascend into SpirituMagno's base. I'm surprised at this point no one has gone for any kind of super weapon. Sentry guns getting torn up by the GLA forces of Sherp, trying to draw them into an A10 Warthog strike, as it looks like ClouD is looking for a bit of a point defense win as he uses those support powers to try and bust through his opponents. There we go, double particle cannon coming in from the Laser General, and these are laser particle cannons, slightly different, but a new construction project. It's an airfield from our GLA, or from our China player, as Aqulex is looking for that air power as well. ClouD happy to fight this one out. A couple of Auroras coming in, and they can maybe get a little bit of splash damage in as the Raptors find their marks. A lot of quad cannons here. A couple of them upgraded, as well as ClouD's forces just get chewed apart by this double team from Numbers and Sherp. Sherp's rocket buggies coming in on the north side, being able to pick off those units from a distance. And there is no hope for ClouD to be able to hold on to that army. Even his own power has gone down, so the middle of the map is a little bit weaker as he doesn't have those base defenses up and running. Particle cannons from USA Laser. Raptors come in, and they do get both particle cannons and a Paladin or 2 as well. Another Aurora comes in. The splash damage is a little slow there, but actually that one Paladin almost backs up into it. Just enough to break down that Paladin, but not enough to stop these rocket buggies from Sherp. Aqulex has laid off the attacks on Sherp, and that has allowed Sherp's basically entire army to reorganize itself in attacking ClouD's expansions in the middle of the map. A couple of Auroras come crashing in. Raptors trying to deal with the rocket buggies, trying to buy more time for ClouD to be able to rebuild his army, who lost almost his entire ground army in that assault. A couple of quad cannons managing to sneak by as Aetherius gets some quads into the back door of ClouD and SpirituMagno. Quad's going to be able to overwhelm these Paladins, it seems, but maybe not with the base defenses. The Firebase and the Patriot missile system both able to clean up a couple of quads here. More Paladins coming down from the high ground, and ClouD is going to be able to shut this down. Warthogs clearing out the middle of the map. Numbers calling in his own support powers as more Raptors head out for SpirituMagno, ever looking for those angles to try and trap some enemy units, swing by quickly and just drive by, kill them. Both of the laser particle cannons go down. ClouD manages to get his own particle cannon. Cleans up a supply drop zone as well. A successful strike there for the WSA team. Sherp has been largely untouched at this point. I feel like he might be the better one to go for a couple of Scud launchers. But SpirituMagno can get a decent amount of aircraft to be able to snipe super weapons. Couple of MiGs coming in, and no, they just completely back off there. I guess they were more of scouting for the artillery as we hear the barrage firing off in the distance. Could try and break this location, and it will. A couple of paladins cleaned up. The tunnel network largely unharmed. Particle tanks here, and carpet bombing or Moab coming in here. Moab, the dodge comes in. It's not quite enough. Sherp's army gets shredded. But will ClouD actually be able to take advantage of this? Or will the Raptors find any additional targets? They do manage to find a couple of targets. ClouD rebuilding his ground army. He has bought enough time. But is it actually going to be enough to push up this ramp? Couple of Iron Dragons, something that we haven't actually seen before in a match here. Avengers zapping away a couple of those missiles. Particle tanks going to be trying to pick off ClouD's units as they press on forward. ClouD also trying to add in a couple of base defenses as well to give them a stronger position to retreat back to. Rocket buggies here for Sherp at the same time. Aetherius pressing into SpirituMagno's base. SpirituMagno cannot be assisting ClouD at this time, so ClouD is going to get double teamed once again as he tries to walk up the ramp. Ethereum keeping SpirituMagno busy on the left side. Another Moab coming in directly on top of the War Factory, trying to cut off the reinforcements of numbers, but ClouD does not have enough. Laser Rangers, Particle Tanks, and Paladins able to push back ClouD's forces. Damage has been done. Aetherius sneaking up the hill with the quad cannons, just surprising, I think, with a tunnel network. Able to sneak up that hill and into the base of SpirituMagno. Sentry drones as the transition, trying to overwhelm the particle tanks with sheer numbers, but the defense from numbers is a little bit too good here. A couple of laser paladins going to try and sneak by. Stealth bombers going to be looking to break down those defenses. One stealth bomber does go down. A couple of Chinooks going to try and join in. I mean, 3 Chinooks, I don't know if that's quite enough to be able to break the front line of numbers here. Nuke cannon lands a couple of shots there as Sherp attempts to press up the hill towards Aqulex and doesn't find any success. Another hypersonic Aurora taken down. SpirituMagno finding some success with those air forces, but having to return to base to refuel takes the momentum out of almost every press, every advancement that he and ClouD make. Aetherius going to be getting his own Scud network up. His first Scud storm is online. Carpet bombing coming up. Lands on the airfield, takes down the airfield, doesn't get the oil derrick, and most of the supply drop zones for ClouD do survive. ClouD, as his macro has grown, he has been able to rebuild his armies a lot more quickly. As another cold fusion reactor. Support powers coming in once again, heading both directions. A War Factory gets claimed. A Moab, I think, coming in on top of the power plants, on top of the War Factory, and ClouD's infrastructure taking a serious beating. His front line taking a lot of damage there. The Avenger able to zap enough missiles. Another tunnel network surprise from Aetherius as he sneaks into the base of SpirituMagno once again. The oil derrick survived. There's enough infantry, enough fire bases that Aetherius is not able to break in, but up the hill, a couple of rocket buggies as well. Quad cannons getting slaughtered here as they are just way too many rocket troopers here from Aetherius, or from Mango, but Aetherius does get the oil derrick. One bit of damage done there, trading that entire army for it. ClouD and SpirituMagno have been able to mostly take over the middle of the map. ClouD with like 4 expansions into the middle, and it's been largely unopposed. Sherp fighting battles on 2 fronts has been unable to completely kick ClouD out of the middle of the map. Carpet bombing comes in. Catches a couple of Paladin tanks, but not enough to break the front line. Aquex comes through with a couple of MiGs trying to burn down the power plants of Mango. One oil derrick does still stand strong. ClouD moving out. Mammoths and Paladins leading the way. Is ClouD finally going to be able to break this stronghold as 9-6-6-6-6-5 doesn't have enough defense on the front line. Sentry guns keeping the other units occupied as a Warthog strike comes in from ClouD. He's going to catch the War Factory, and the majority of ClouD's army does survive the first volley with his enemies. Couple of backdoor Comanche attack as he targets down the power plants one by one, taking the production offline, taking the buildings offline as he slows the production and completely eliminates the laser targets. Carpet bombing comes in. ClouD mostly dodges it. His army getting split up a little bit here, but the Comanches a huge help to try and rout this laser army, and ClouD may have finally done it. Sherp moving through the middle of the map as Sherp is going to try and take back some kind of advantage against ClouD. And no, he's actually just coming straight for revenge. I thought he was going into the middle of the map to take down the expansions, but no, he is heading up the hill where ClouD's mammoth tanks are waiting. Paladins as well, and it's into the meat grinder as the quad cannons try and close the distance. The Comanches here fully loaded with heroic status and ready to do battle. Mammoths on the high ground, and unfortunately for Sherp, that first volley did not go as well as he would have liked. Retreating into the base defenses and the Raptors of SpirituMagno as Sherp falls back down the hill, and Numbers has been defeated. ClouD keeps pressing forward. His macro seems unstoppable at this point. Firestorm gets called in, trying to defeat the Palace and trying to open up some kind of weakness into Sherp. Sherp now playing a 1v2v2. The WSA team has almost broken the USA GLA team in the north. And I don't know how Aqulex or Aetherius managed to grab that one civilian structure. It's pretty funny, in the back of your opponent's base, managing to bust through that one spot. Carpet bombing or something coming through. Another surprise tunnel network does allow Aetherius to open up a back door into SpirituMagno's base. He's going to get the strategy center. He may even get some of the economy of ClouD. Two more quad cannons do go down, and it's going to be a fuel air bomb on top of the army. Mostly they're able to dodge it as the sneak attack goes down. The Warthogs come in for a second pass, and Aetherius's rocket buggies survive, but the quad cannons do not, which probably means the rocket buggies won't survive for very much longer. And actually, no, a couple of quad cannons did survive that initial attack. ClouD showing up with the last of those Comanches to press through. A couple of rocket buggies there from Sherp, sharking around the map, trying to find some kind of opening. Aqulex is going to be difficult to break. Although if ClouD and SpirituMagno both build particle cannons, if they both build triple particle cannon at the same time, they may actually be able to get a couple of them off. All of the super weapons have been basically sniped before they can be effective. Another artillery barrage comes in. ClouD trying to assault up the hill to get into Aqualex's base, but honestly, dealing with Sherp might be the better thing to do. Hypersonic Auroras come through, the splash damage catching some of those quads as ClouD looks to close in constant mammoth tank production as he is hoping pure dollars will spend him into the first place position in this game. He's just hoping that he can out-bleed his opponents. And up the hill go the Paladin tanks. Couple of quad cannons here, a couple of tanks as well, as this GLA stealth general retreats further and further from the front line. The Palace will maybe get sniped here, as yes, the Warthog strike comes through, but it is not enough to break that Palace. SpirituMagno may need to assist with some additional Raptor strikes. We'll see if he's able to make it happen. And a firestorm gets started on top of one of the palaces, cutting off some of the reinforcements as Sherp tries to break the front line of Cloud with pure infantry numbers. RPG troopers from the left, and Sherp has been defeated. No end in sight. He decides to call it quits. And Aetherius with sneak attack after sneak attack. This guy has been putting so much pressure on SpirituMagno, and yet he's cleared out a decent chunk of SpirituMagno's base, but ultimately SpirituMagno is still in a pretty strong position in this game. Carpet bombing coming in here. He's going to be able to clean up almost everything. Aetherius gets cleaned up in an absolute firestorm in the back of SpirituMagno's base. Nuke cannons, battle masters, gatlings. It is going to be difficult for anyone to break into Aqualex's base. And triple China airfield as well. Cloud is going to instead try and break into Aetherius's base. Cloud, who just sort of took over the map and has outproduced everybody. Paladins leading the charge with the mammoths, and actually these battle masters are just feeding into the meat grinder that is Cloud's forces. Carpet bombing comes through once again, but this time from Aqualex as Cloud presses on forward. The nuke cannons not at all supporting this, but an anthrax bomb coming in. It's a little behind the army, but it cleans up a big chunk of the reinforcements, and Cloud presses on forward. His mammoth tanks, it seems, will reign supreme, and it's just not enough numbers from our China player. MiGs coming in perhaps a little too late, as they may be able to clean up some of these mammoth tanks, but this is just the first wave from Cloud. He has turned basically his entire attention onto this Chinese base. A-10 Warthogs come through for SpirituMagno, clean up both airfields at once, and Cloud has been stopped, but destruction has been wrought upon the base of Aqualex. Even Comanches sneaking into the back of the base. They're going to get pushed around by these Gats. They are going to be able to find a couple of internet centers, though. Fuel air bomb on top of this building. Or maybe it was supposed to be a carpet bomb. I think he was going to try and fuel air bomb the oil derricks. Didn't quite work out. At the same time, Aetherius looking to bring victory to his team, though. He might be able to strike down SpirituMagno while Cloud is completely distracted. If he can kill SpirituMagno, they might be able to double team Cloud between the two of them. Cloud coming in with reinforcements from almost every angle here as the Scorpions and the quad cannons get caught by a Moab. Not again. A carpet bomb on top of that, and a couple of stealth bombers as well, and Cloud will be able to clean up the rest. SpirituMagno's air forces eventually having a bit of problems dealing with the ground army of Aetherius. SpirituMagno really had to lean on Cloud providing assistance. And now Cloud, it does have a lot of Paladins right on the front line here. Aqualex's expansion getting shut down. And all of these Comanches from Cloud now going to be descending on the base of Aetherius. More Warthogs coming in. More strikes as there's the fire sale. Aetherius is going to call it quits. Aqualex shouldn't be far behind. And it looks like Cloud and SpirituMagno will be able to come through for the victory. The double USA team. And I mean, really, it started when Cloud took over the middle of the map. There's the fire sale from Aqualex. It started when Cloud took over the middle of the map and actually had enough money to outproduce everyone else. That's where things started to turn in Cloud's favor. And SpirituMagno, pretty consistent with those bombing runs all throughout the game. But that will do it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the General's Evolution action. And this is Cybert, signing out.